This video is brought to you by the Farmer Klein YouTube channel. Be sure to like, subscribe, and comment. Hello everybody, welcome back to the Farming Simulator 22 Map First Impressions video. Today we're going to take a look at Maragogipe. But before that, this video is brought to you by Rambo Hacker Gaming and Dang Driver. Thank you for being farm barons. So the Maragogipe map. Google Translate, thank you for providing me that pronunciation. Can be found over at the farmingsimulator.com site or the in-game downloadable content menu. And as of the 1.0 release, this map is available for all platforms. Let's read some of the description. Maragogipe, located in southern region of Brazil with fields and real relief. This landscape includes large fields as far as the eye can see, with a light and pleasant relief, where it is possible to make good harvest all year round, because this map does have a custom growth schedule that has been tweaked for the southern hemisphere. You're going to take a look at that here in a moment, taking advantage of the Brazilian calendar, like I said, with grains being transported easily. This map has 70 fields of various sizes, from large to extra large, I'll say, a dairy, sugarcane factory, and market to sell the factory's production and new crop of black beans. So this map also includes 3 required mods. Those required mods are the Brazilian cow corral, Brazilian sheds, as well as the Maragogipe house. So this is your farmhouse. So in addition to those required mods, we are going to use the mods we typically use to take a look at maps. That is additional field info, additional game settings, animal food overview, field lease, field calculator, and precision farming. If you happen to load this map up in farm manager mode or start from scratch, you will find the starting farm is built out exactly how you see it here in new farm mode, with the exception you do not own any land, nor do you own any starting machinery aside from your starting pickup truck. When we load into the map for the very first time, we start here at the gas station. I guess we just kind of got dropped off at the street. Now, oddly enough, our pickup truck is actually up in town by the grocery store, or what I'm going to call the grocery store sell point. Let's go ahead and take a look at the PDA. And one thing I think you're going to notice is, well, the massiveness of some of these fields. Specifically, field 7 is pretty dang big. Take a look at our lands overview. You'll see that field 7 is 267 acres in size, $4,300,000 to buy, or for those that run with hectares, 105.69 hectares in size. Now, as far as our starting land machinery, we started with farmland ID number 9. That includes the main starting farm as well as field 9. That can be bought for $717,000 in any alternate game mode. Other than fields, we have one other viable farmland, that is farmland ID 20. It has a cow pasture on it. It can be bought for $205,000. We take a look at our farmland lease screen. This is going to show us all of the viable farmlands, how large those farmlands are, if those farmlands include any fields, what fields are included, then lastly, how much is that farmland going to cost us. So here you have big farmland 7, which is field 7, $4.3 million. We also have for $2.5 million, field 12, farmland ID 12, 62.68 hectares in size. Farmland 18 is 30 hectares of size. It does not include a field. Jumping back here, you will see that we do have all the standard crops available to us in the Farm Sim 22, in addition to black bean. Taking a look at our crop counter, here you can see the wild and crazy southern hemisphere crop counter that we have. So we are planting in autumn and what would be late summer for the northern hemisphere folks, and we're harvesting in winter. Well, again, what would be winter for the northern hemisphere folks, but that is the reverse for those in the southern hemisphere. So their summer is during our winter, And obviously their winter is during our summer. Now, the only thing that is not tweaked, and that is going to be our premium expansion crops and red beets, carrots, and parsnips. And I'm thinking that is basically because this map was likely in process of being sent to Giants when those came out, and therefore they were not added as far as the custom growth schedule goes. Taking a look at our prices overview, you will see that we do have the ability to sell most, but not all of the standard base game crops. We are missing the ability to sell olives. And then as we move down through, we do have the ability to sell our eggs, wool, and milk, as well as our silage, hay, straw, and grass. But the story continues with respect to production because we are missing the ability to sell fabric, as well as chocolate and planks. Now, as far as lime goes, we do have the ability to buy bulk lime. And we also do have the ability to get rid of our stones. As far as our custom crop in black beans, we have 2 sell points for that. We do not have the ability to sell any of the platinum expansion production items, which is not kind of uncommon as we have come to learn over the last year. And then, of course, if you have the premium expansion, we do have the ability to sell those productions and crops. And if you are playing with pumps and hoses, we can get rid of our separated manure. Taking a look at our starting vehicles in new farmer mode, they are all new and well maintained. And they're also all owned by us. We do not have any animals at the start, but there is a buyable farmland that does include a custom cow pasture that does have some cows in it. Just don't see them until we buy those. We do have contracts available on this map. We do not own any production chains on the map at the start, and this map does not have any collectibles. Taking a look at our starting fleet, we start out with the Massey Ferguson 7S210 medium tractor. We have the Fendt 1050 Vario large tractor. We have the Axleflow 9250 harvester that is paired up with a 12-row corn header. We have our 2017 pickup truck. We have the Rudolph TDK 301 RP trailer. We have the Kinsey Mocktail 261 disc harrow. And we have the Pottinger TerraSim C6F planter. Taking a look at our mods and DLCs, we do not have any custom vehicles or implements that are part of this map. Now, as I mentioned, if we just tab to our pickup truck, this is actually over here at what I'm going to be calling our grocery store sell point, or maybe our convenience store sell point. So we're just going to hit another tab and jump over to our local farm, which is in the far west corner of the map. Here we have our farmhouse with our sleep and wardrobe trigger. We're going to find our sleep trigger here at the front and wardrobe trigger around the side. Now, as far as our starting farm goes, we have our farmhouse. We have this large open shed. And then we have a vehicle shed over here that has 2 large sliding doors. That is our starting farm. Now, with respect to, can the farm be customized? Well, you are looking at basically the only thing that can be sold on this starting farm, and that is the farmhouse. So both of these sheds are permanently a part of the farm. And as such, well, I don't know if it's a little harsh or if it's just a byproduct of there really only being 3 buildings here at the starting farm. But since we can only sell 1 of 3, we're going to be giving the map a 1/4 of a point with respect to, can the farms be customizable? Because again, well, we're stuck with 2 of the 3 buildings that are a part of this starting farm. Let's go ahead and take a look at build mode. We do start out with some custom buildings that we can place down. They are kind of separated up here. We have our medium shed. This is our shed right there. We have our open-ended shed. And then we have another open-ended shed. And another variant of the other shed. So they're named the same. It's almost like they are double entry, but they're shown up here twice. Do not have any custom silos, extensions, containers, or tools. Here we have our placeable farmhouse. As far as production goes, we do have some custom production. So here we have a sugar mill. And it does pre-exist on the map. We have a dairy, which also does pre-exist on the map. And you'll notice that dairy does produce chocolate, but we do not have the ability to sell our chocolate. And then we have a custom lime production. Bring in stones, produce yourself some lime. We have standard greenhouses, orchards, and generators. We do have some custom cow pastures because of the required mod. And one of these cow pastures is being used on this map. As far as deco elements go, these are all fairly standard. And then with respect to landscaping textures, we got fairly standard landscape textures, but let's go ahead and take a look at those. We have our animal mud. We have our asphalt, concrete, dirt. We have another flavor of dirt, so different shades of red dirt. Some brown dirt. That's like sand. We have forest ground. We have our grass, our dry grass. We have our gravel, rock, and granite. And then we have standard trees. Oh, sorry, we do have some custom trees. Didn't see these earlier. So we have a custom tree there. Custom pine tree. Palm tree, sorry. A volume tree. Oak, and then we have a large spruce listed there. Then we do have some custom plants as well. So we have grass, meadow, daisy, yellow daisies, bluebells, edelweiss, apera, yeah, that one, C name, Rumex, another C name, Papa don't know that name plant. We have meadow, different meadow. We have Mota, and another variant of bluebell. Doesn't really look all that blue, but okay. Let's go and take a look at our custom ground textures. So dark dirt, normal dirt, brown dirt, wet sand, forest ground, grass, dry grass, gravel, dark rock, regular rock. Then we have these new trees, placeable trees, and then the placeable foliage. Right there. So with respect to buildings where appropriate are using the new texture technique, ground textures where appropriate are using the new texture technique, we're going to give the map a half a point. And I debated about this one also, but basically all these custom buildings are using flat textures. They're not ugly textures, but they're not the 3D textures, if you will, that are a part of FS22. So we are going to go with a half a point there. We do have some really nice plantable textures, our placeable plants, placeable trees, and ground textures. Let's jump back up here to our precision farming soil map and see how the generic soil map is going to be applied to these fields. Given the significant percentage of the map that is fields, we have a very, very clear image of what the generic soil map looks like here. Field 7 is just an amalgam of all the different soil types, as well as fields 13. In fact, all of these fields are going to have quite the varied soil types in them as you go around if you are using precision farming. Now we will forego the drive around portion of this video because as you can see from the PDA, the vast majority of the sell points and interactive points on this map are going to be along the main drag, kind of along the south to north pass up the western edge of the map. Then we do have a couple little things cutting across the northern part of the map. But as we make our way over here by field 11, this is going to be our dairy. So we have our drop-off point, we have our interactive icon, and then as far as our pallet spawn point, well, it's not really indicated. But I would pass a guess that it's going to be here under this area by this roll down door. But it would be nice to see kind of trigger markers or corner markers locating that. Just up the road from there, we have where we started out at our gas station. Continuing up this fine tree-lined road. We're going to make our way over here to a grain sell point. And we have that in there. Here we have the lime production. So we have our interactive icon. We have our dump point in the hopper or on the ground. Then we have our lime output under here. It would be nice to see a nice blue floating icon here to clearly indicate that. But it's pretty obvious where that's going to be. Here we have our dump point for our various products at this sell point. So we make our way into town. We have our vehicle dealership. Let's go ahead and get a Mahindra and we'll just see where our vehicles spawn. They spawn here in our parking lot. Decent sized area for those vehicles to spawn in at. A modest, well, as far as getting out of the dealership goes, you either come here through this bale sell point for cotton and wool, or you have this exit here. So not the widest of exits given the sizes of these fields. Now, with respect to your service trigger, your dealer trigger, that is going to be located over here. And while not super marked out, it is going to be here where this concrete line has been put, this curbing. So that's basically going to be your dealer trigger. Over here we have our grocery store, our convenience store. Again, that is where our pickup truck is parked at the start. Here we have another grain sell point located through there. And then this is the buyable cow pasture. So we do start out with some cows. Once you buy the land, these triggers will pop up, so you have your cow delivery point. This area will hold 180 cows. We have 15 at the start. We have our food trough. We have our straw trigger. We have our milk trigger. Then around the side, we have our slurry point. Continuing down the hillside, we have our animal dealer. And we just basically have a bunch of free-form animals just kind of roaming around. So we have animal dealer trigger right there. And then we also have a bale sell point down here at the animal trigger. Now I will have to say that this, when I activate the dealer trigger, it's coming up with this farm. And I don't know if this behavior is because we have just a single animal pen on the map, or if something else is going on here. And then our final sell point is up here to the northeast corner of the map. And it is going to be a combination of sugar mill and sugar sell point. So our sugar production is going to be handled right here at this single-story building. We have our interactive icon. We have our dump point for our sugar inputs. But what we do not have clearly indicated is where our pallets are going to spawn. They spawn here. They spawn over here. Quite possibly they spawn here because we have our concrete curbing marking this area out. But again, we do not know necessarily. So we are going to be taking some points off with respect to player and interactive areas being clearly marked. Then over here we have our sugar mill sell point. And that is pretty much the map. Now let's go ahead and kind of highlight our scoring here with respect to the map having production being built in. We are going to be giving the map a full point because we do have a sugar mill built in. We have a dairy built in. We also are going to be giving the map 3/4 of a point with respect to having the ability to sell all of our basic crops, production items, and animal outputs, because we are lacking the ability to sell olives. We're also lacking the ability to sell fabric, chocolate, and planks. We're giving the map a score of 0.25, or 1/4 of a point, with respect to are the farms customizable, because, well, frankly, 2 of the 3 buildings pre-placed on the starting farm are permanently affixed and permanently placed down. Buildings where appropriate are using the new texturing technique as well as ground textures. We're going to give the map a 1/2 a point there because, as best I can tell, all of the custom buildings that we do have here on the map are using a more flat wall texture. And while those textures are not that distractive because they are not super low resolution like we have seen in some other maps, they are not making use of the new kind of 3D texturing technique. So we will be taking off 1/2 a point there. And with respect to player and interactive areas being clearly marked, we've got a fair number of interactive areas, like over here at our dairy, over at the sugar mill, where we do not have indicators clearly marking where we can expect our pallets to spawn at. So we are going to be giving the map 3/4 of a point there as well. So that's going to wrap this map up with a score of 3.25 out of 5. We could have gotten a lot more points if just these 2 buildings could have been sold. That would have given this map a full point with respect to the starting farm being customizable. And then if we could sell fabric, chocolate planks, and olives, well, that would give the map another full point there as well. So pretty easily, this map could have made its way all the way up to 4 or higher. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below with respect to this Brazilian map. We haven't seen a South American map for quite a long time. So it's nice to see another one pop up. And oddly enough, this one did not have a massive lime mine like we are somewhat used to seeing on other South American and Brazilian style maps. Until next time, happy farming.